a very best in your career during the course of your life. Now friends, you have taken up a very important course. As Dr. Syed said, who is himself an educationalist and a great poet, heading the World Poet Conference, that this is a unique day for you. Now by taking up this education course, you are going to become teachers of tomorrow. Now the teacher's profession is not only one of the noblest professions we have, but it is a profession which actually streamlines the well-being of the life of the people. In fact, you are going to be the creators of the future. You are going to mold the younger generation for the welfare of the country as a whole. Therefore, the responsibility is heavily on your shoulders to see that whatever you have studied from this esteemed institution are given effect to in preparing better students of the future India. Now friends, I could see from the annual report of the principal of the college that this institution of education is not one among many institutions of education which are teaching education in their formal way. But here, your education is molded so as to suit your knowledge to the existing scientific development. This is the era of scientific development, where technology, like your director, who is himself a technocrat, has developed to a very large extent. And therefore, as the teachers, you are not going to be the teachers of yesteryears, but you are going to face the students who are much intelligent than the earlier generation. Therefore, you must be competent enough to answer them. And that is how you find in this institution, you have been molded and your studies have been made in such a way that you are made experts in the developing concepts of education, including the technology. I am very happy to know that the college itself is having a website of its own, so as to see that you have every information on your fingertips about the concept of education. Friends, education is not merely imparting instruction. Of course, imparting education by way of teaching them and making students to learn various subjects forms the major aspect of the education. But you should always remember that in addition to that, the education must be capable of infusing character in the minds of the students. Education without character is disastrous. You may create a very big scientist as your student, but if the scientist is going to be anti-national, if the scientist, in the name of exercising his intelligence, is going to use his intelligence in a perverted manner for the disastrous consequence, then there is no use of creating such an educated man by you. Therefore, your imparting education to the students must be also along with the character. The student must understand that as a student, he is the Indian and he is a world citizen and he is a peace-loving person, and that is a very important concept. In fact, the concept of moral education has lost sight of in the recent years. When we were the students, we had a subject called moral education. But now for nearly 20 or 30 years, this concept of moral education in the schools have been lost. Nobody knows as to what has happened to the moral education. And I have asked in one of the meetings when the Secretary of Education was present as to what happened to the syllabus which we had earlier. And when our teachers, whether English teacher or Tamil teacher comes to classroom, he will start with a moral education and then go to the subject. And that was a government order compelling that every teacher must impart moral education at the first instance. And that government order has become lapsed. And I asked the secretary as to what has happened to that, and the secretary said that he doesn't know what has happened to that. And he will try to find out from the records. And that is how you find the concept of morality has gone back in course of the technical development which has come to a large extent. With the result, our mind has become commercial. Our mind has become money-minded. And we only want to earn money by our profession by any means. And that should not be our ideal. Our ideal should be, as Mahatma Gandhi said, that means and ends must be proper. You should not think that you must achieve your goal somehow or other, even by an illegal means. You must have a proper beginning, you must have a legal mind, and you must achieve it in a proper manner. That is the most important thing. It is because this concept has gone back in the recent years. In our country, we have started following the Western system, resulting in the loss of our character. In the Western system, it is the acquisition of knowledge which should be in a position to make a man rich. That is the basic concept. Therefore, they were all materialistic in their view. They get education, they earn a lot of money, they forget about parents, they forget about the country, and they forget about everything, and they think only about money. Ultimately, they lose their mind. They have no peace of mind at last. Western country is facing that now. Whereas in our Asian system, it is not like that. The Asian concept of education, especially in India, is not only for the purpose, education for the purpose of earning money, but education for the purpose of making proper citizens. And that is very important. So as the future teachers of this country, you may be here or you may be elsewhere, you must see that our citizens are human beings or brought up in a proper manner. One more thing which I would like to insist is that nowadays the parents are losing their grip over their children, and that is again because of the Western system. It is only the Western system you find when the children become elders, they lose their contact with the parents because they want to be independent. In the name of independence, they lose their relationship with the family and they become stray and they live as they like. But in our country, it is not like that. Whatever may be your achievement in your life, you will never forget your country. You will never forget your parents. You will never forget your institution which has brought you up. And that is the basic character of this country. And thus, that character which has gone back in the early years, in these years, recent years, must be resorted back. And that is your responsibility. Therefore, my request on this auspicious occasion is, while congratulating every one of you that each and every one of you must get a proper job opportunity, and you must of course get a good earning, but at the same time, you must see that proper citizens of the country are created. That is solely in your hands. The very importance of a teacher is that for a teacher, if he goes anywhere in the world, he will get at least one person who studied under him. You may go to the United States, You may go to Russia. You may go to any other place. Ultimately, you will find one person sitting there who will recognize you as your teacher. And that importance is not there in any other profession. It is only the teaching profession which has got that world recognition. I tell you one thing, I was a teacher of cost accountants. It was a part-time teachership for the past 18 years in my beginning career as a lawyer. And I was teaching commercial law. Now one morning I received a phone call from a man from United States. He introduced himself as a cost accountant working somewhere in Washington. Then he said he remembers me, and he was my student in the year 1980 or 82, and he said that he still remembers my teachings. And he said that the promptness in which you used to come to classroom, then the part-time classes used to be taken at 6:40 in the morning, 6:40 to 8:40. Exactly at 6:40 we will be there in the classroom. And he was just remembering that. And he said that how smoothly we have done the company law, I still remember that. And he said as a cost accountant, while auditing the cost auditing of the company in Washington, I am able to exercise the knowledge which I have acquired from you. What else is required for a teacher? That is the greatestness of probably you may not get better money, but the great recognition by the humankind is the most important thing for a teacher. It is that position which you are going to acquire, and I once again congratulate every one of you and this esteemed institution, as I told you, with the dynamic director who is here and who is very dynamic and who will be here to help everybody, and the able guidance of both the Madam Chairperson as well as the Chairman, Correspondent and Founder, and with the help of the faculty members headed by the Principal, and therefore you should get distinction in your life, and I congratulate you once again. Thank you very much.